Here I am again, and I'm working with a couple of different horses, some that you've seen before, and maybe one new one. This is an off-track thoroughbred that I love to work with, and what I thought I would play with today was a little bit of lateral work again. I've been blogging about lateral work, and I thought I'd show how I literally play with it. So I was walking James to the quarter line and then asking him slowly to yield his body, which is basically a leg yield, trying to stay in the position which is at the shoulder or wither area and by the girth, which is where I would be on him. So it's kind of making a connection for him on the actual mounted cues. So a lot of people are confused sometimes about how this work would carry into riding, but I very much tried to ride the horse from the ground, if you will, and make associations with movements that I'll ask for underground. You can see as we repeat this, he gets more and more understanding the exercise. Now this horse that I wanted to talk a little bit more about, he was in my last video, and he's obviously working on some in-hand, and I was long lining him. And the interesting thing about this horse is he was quite heavy in the bridle when I got him, and I've been riding him bitless now for a couple of years. And though he has to show because of his rules in the competition in a bit, I decided to do the opposite of what everyone else would do. This horse was extremely forehandy, and so I took the bit out of his mouth and taught him how to use his body better. So the work I do with him is all about him learning how to balance and use himself better, and not to put a stronger bit in his mouth. This is a horse that I've used before in some videos. This horse is, what more can you say about a lovely mare? It's a thoroughbred. I know she's quite chunky for a thoroughbred, but she's what a nice tempered horse. You see she's quite soft. I'm doing some horse yoga, what I would call some horse yoga. This horse can be quite stiff in the hips and quite crooked going in the hips when she's under saddle and just at liberty. So I like to get her to loosen her hips and do these cross steps and try to just get her smoothly stepping under. You see she hesitates a lot, and she finds that she gets sticky that way. So I do a lot of this work with her, these sort of turns on the forehand and these little bit shoulder fore circles you see here. I'm working with her on, again, a little bit of a cross step on a circle here. Not quite a shoulder in, a little bit more than a shoulder fore, but still some sort of lateral movement on a circle. That gets her placing her inside hind leg more underneath herself, which is not how she usually likes to go. But what a nice way and what a gentle way to warm up a horse that has that sort of issue, which I see in quite a lot of horses. Here you see it's a little bit more like a turn on the forehand, but on a smaller circle. So it's a little bit lateral and a little bit forward at the same time. So you can play a lot with liberty work in how you gently warm up a horse for riding. You know, sometimes I have the saddles on them and I just turn them loose. You can see doors wide open, as I mentioned in my last video. You can see the end door there is open. The door in the other direction is open, as is the aisle. But you can see here I'm starting to work also on some shoulder in, and I haven't done much of this with her at liberty, so you'll see me just sort of invite her, this is very experimental, to come into this shape, and all I did was mimic the shape to her, and look at that, she went right into it. I was so impressed with that. So I'm always talking about mirroring. Well, that's it right there. It doesn't get much simpler than that. I don't even have any reed or whip or anything there. Look, I just turned my body and I said, this is what it looks like, and I mimicked the steps. I have never asked this horse for that. and look at how she absolutely mirrored my position. So horses are always just showing how little communication they really need to get stuff. You know, people say shoulder in is quite a complex movement, but look at how easily you can get it. I realize it's not a show ring shoulder in, some dressage purists will say, but it's still, again, introducing the concept to the horse and, you know, giving them a sort of understanding what that shape looks like. You know, obviously when we do line and in hand and mounted, we can refine these movements so they're more, you know, correct and more sort of perfect for what would be the movement we're looking for. Here again, I'm working a little bit more with some lateral work, a little bit leg yield, and each time I finish something, I move with the horse, bring her back to me, praise her. She's getting a little tidbit there. So really impressed with her today because a lot of the stuff I'd never done. So I was so amazed with how much she just really keyed into what I was asking for. Here again, I'm asking her for the shoulder in. And look at that, I just changed the position of my body and she went right down the line with me. So, and that's a harder one there because she doesn't have anything stopping her from continuing around me. Here's Mr. Mercury again. You saw a little bit of shoulder in starting with him. I was just doing all kinds of stuff as usual with him. Mercury and I are just a constant stream of improvising and playing, so you'll just see me doing, that's sort of like working on these sort of canter pirouettes we're playing with. There's little half steps again. We're just running around because it's fun to the treat thing. Now we're running around this way. Just playing, really. And, you know, I like break up the training. Sometimes we do real focus things. Here I'm just playing with him a lot, you know, practicing our half steps again there. And he's starting to really anticipate these Spanish walk steps, so he's throwing those in. He loves to jump. He threw in a little jump there. There's a little more lateral work. I think I'm starting to work a little bit on the shoulder in here on a volte, which is a very small circle, and then into a leg yield there, and then into some dancing, whatever Mercury feels like doing. You see him offering me a little Spanish walk here and there. We did play with that a little bit. I didn't film it as much this time, so he offers that a lot now because we've been working on it. It's a little more shoulder in. On the right there, more jumping, because we love to jump. Oh, there's a Spanish walk. We're actually doing it on purpose now. A little more half steps there. Oh, it's getting a little fresh, but I'm used to that with him. He gets all fired up. Collection work makes horses like that. They get very, very proud and full of themselves and spirited, so I don't mind. I think that's good. It means I'm tapping the energy. So you see, he gets quite excited by the more collected stuff, and quite playful, and I like that. I always like that about him. So you see me again playing a little bit, offering some high school, his little levades that he likes to do. And here looks like I'm going into some shoulder in again. Shoulder in on the volte. So I showed the shoulder in a little bit differently on the wall and on the circle here. Some horses will find it easier to do it this way, and some horses will find it easier to do it the other way. That other mare, the black mare, she took to it quite well on the straight line, and I would say Mercury does it better on the circle and can do it on the wall too, but finds it easier to understand when he's on the volte. You can obviously work on this after they get good in the walk, in the faster gaits. And looks like here I'm working on turn on the haunches on the wall. So you can just see there's a variety of things you can play with, and we work on a lot of upper level stuff here, but it's much more fun. See you next time.